courier, including courier and logistics management. Efficiency is key. Another word that is always used, okay, vis-a-vis efficiency is effectiveness. I'm sure you have heard that before. Okay, efficiency, effectiveness, optimization, all of these things, they mean the same thing. You know, they work around the same thing. Whether you use efficiency, effectiveness, even though there are different, they have slight differences. Okay, when you begin to explain them, whether efficiency or effectiveness, optimization. Efficiency actually means avoiding errors and avoiding wastages in material things, in time, in money, in resources. So whatever you are doing, and you are avoiding making mistakes, or you are avoiding wasting materials or time or money or resources, you are the realm of efficiency. So if you say we are driving efficiency in an organization, that means we are putting all things into place to ensure that we avoid making errors or wasting materials or wasting time or wasting money or wasting resources. So anybody that can help you drive efficiency in your business is actually helping your business. Because if you are able to reduce error, reduce wastages in time and materials or money or resources, you are going to be getting more profit. So the ROI will be high. So, and that is why efficiency in logistics operation is key. And that is what route optimization, scheduling, and risk management is all about. So it's not just that we want to start managing courier and logistics. No, it's beyond that. We want to be able to manage it efficiently in such a way that our operations will have minimal error. Our operations will have reduced wastages or totally eliminating wastages in money, in resources, in material, in time. Imagine somebody delivering a package from A to B and spending 10 minutes. And imagine another person delivering the same package from the same A to the same B, spending 1 hour. Mr. A, who did it in 10 minutes, has been able to reduce wastages in time. Okay? While Mr. B spent 2 hours, has not been able to manage his resources very well. So while A will have more profit, B will have less profit. So that is efficiency. And effectiveness is ability to produce your desired results. Before you start a project, you know where you are going. From the starting point, you know where you are ending. So ability to get to the ending, your expected income or your expected outcome or where I'm going, that is effectiveness. That's not the difference between the two. You have a plan A to B and you are moving from A to B and you already know where you are going, what you get at the end of the day. For example, if I invested 10,000, I know by the end of the day, I will get 50,000. So if you get 50,000, that means you are effective. But if you get less than that, it means you are less effective. It doesn't mean that you are not effective. You are less effective. And you get above 50,000, you are more effective. And then optimization is how to be able to make the best use of your resources. You have resources available to you. And your resources include your time, include your money, include the material that you have, include your wisdom, your knowledge and understanding as we have been talking about. So if you're able to make the best use of all that you have to get the best results, you're optimizing. So that is, so what we are discussing this afternoon is within the realm of efficiency, effectiveness, optimization in courier and logistics operations. So if you're able to achieve all of this, then we know that we are running a proper courier and logistics business. So efficient logistics operation actually revolve around these 3 things that we are talking about tonight, this afternoon. Route optimization. If you are able to optimize your routes very well, you discover that you avoid error, you avoid time wastages, you avoid money and resource wastages, you avoid material wastages, and then you get more profit. Same thing, if your scheduling is right, you're able to schedule your pickup and delivery or your operations. Everything is done according to time specified. you discover that you'll be able to run an efficient logistics. Then also risk management, which is about identifying and minimizing disruptions. Every business has its own risk. Every business, every venture, including courier and logistics, has its own risk. But if you're able to identify those risks and then reduce the impact of the risk in your business, then you're able to manage your risk. And so these are all that we do to be able to achieve a efficient logistics operation. So these three elements improve cost efficiency, customer satisfaction, and sustainability. Route optimization is actually directly related to cost efficiency, because when you are able to reduce error, reduce wastages, reduce amount you spend in running your business, then you are cost efficient. And then also with your scheduling, if you're able to schedule properly to ensure that you pick up at the appropriate time and deliver at the appropriate time, you get customer satisfaction. Your customers will be happy with your business and they'll be ready to repeat the business with you. Then also sustainability, your business will be sustainable. That is, will last long, will remain for a long time if you are able to manage your risk appropriately. And management of risk means you identify the errors or the risk available, and then you minimize the effect of that risk on your business or disruption. So that's the introduction to the topic. Now let's move on to route optimization. Now, what is route optimization? Route optimization is the process of determining the most efficient path for your vehicles or your bike or your truck or your plane to take in order to minimize time, cost, or distance while meeting operational constraints. I'm sure this is very, very simple and very straightforward. There is a particular route you can take, or your drivers can take, or your food couriers can take in such a way that the time for delivery is minimized. The cost of delivery is minimized. The distance between origin and destination or pickup and delivery is minimized while you are running your operation. When you are able to arrive at that particular route, then you are the realm of route optimization. There could be so many routes, that will take you to your destination. Like in my language, that is a word, that is an idiom that says, "Onokon Woja." That is, it is not only one road that leads to the market. I'm sure you'll agree with me. So many roads lead to the market. But there is a particular road that will enable you get to the market, but spending minimum time, minimum cost, and spending going through the least distance to get to the market. And that is what we are looking at route optimization. So it's not just to just pick your driver, ask the driver to pick and go and deliver at Ikeja, or just from anywhere, go and deliver at Susu. No, it's much more than that. Courier operation is much more than that. You must be able to look at that particular route that will enable you to minimize your time, cost, and distance. And who does that? It is the manager. You have to guide whoever is doing the business to say, okay, where you are going to Ikeja, make sure you pass through an information, then take this place, because there may be a hold up that will delay you here, or there is also that will delay you here. Make sure you follow this. If you get there, you get there on time, and then the cost of fueling will reduce. So what is the importance of route optimization? Number one, just as I said, it reduces fuel consumption and operational cost. You'll agree with me that one of the cost content of courier and logistics operation is fueling. There are so many others. Cost of materials, cost of your bike, the salary of the biker or the salary of the driver, cost of packaging and the rest. But very key to costing fuel, courier operation is fuel. And if you don't pay attention to the fuel, if you run a bike, it's going to eat deep into your cost. And then ROI at the end of the day will not be much. But when you you prioritize your routes, you discover that the cost you are spending on fueling will be reduced. So route optimization enables us to reduce fuel consumption and also reduce operational cost. Number two, route optimization enables us to deliver with speed and reliability. If you're able to optimize your route, you know the particular route that must be used to enable to do your delivery or pickup, you discover that you are able to achieve your delivery on time faster than taking an optimized route. We are going to get into the practical of this later on because I have a session for route planning there. Then it supports environmental sustainability by lowering emission, because part of the thing that we do in route optimization is to use environmental friendly vehicles, okay? Environmental friendly vehicle that does not impact on the environment. So, and when you bring all of that into route optimization, you discover that it supports environmental sustainability, and that is one of the new things that is being added to courier and logistics operation. Let's move on to the next slide. Now, we are going to consider some of the methods. Next slide. We are looking at some of the methods of optimizing our route and the tools that we use. We have short path algorithm. Now, under short path algorithm, we have vehicle routing problem models, VRP. That's the acronym. VRP. VRP means vehicle routing problem. And number one, under that we have capacitated VRP. We also have time window VRP, and then we have dynamic VRP. What is capacitated VRP? Capacitated VRP has to do with the capacity of the vehicle that you are using. The capacity of the vehicle that you are using will help you in optimizing your route. The capacity has to do the load ability. How much can that vehicle contain in terms of load? You know, you have a bike. Your bike may be able to take about, let's say, about 100 packages using the box at the end of behind the bike. 100 packages. And then you have a car or a small box. You'll be talking about 5 tons. Oh, sorry, 1 ton. 1 ton. Then you could have a 3.5 ton, like Mitsubishi Canter, 3.5 tons. Then you have 5 tons vehicles, and you have 10 tons. You have 15, 20, 30, you know. That's the tonnage of the vehicle. That's the capacity of the vehicle. So if you have a vehicle that you don't have much load in it, I mean, in that particular route, it is not effective to deploy such vehicles with higher capacity to a route where the load is minimal. For example, you are moving from, let's say, Ikeja to VI, and all you have is about 1 ton load. Putting a 3-ton load vehicle on that route will reduce the value of that vehicle on that route, because you are putting a higher capacity vehicle on a route that doesn't have enough load to fill that vehicle. And the higher the capacity of the vehicle, the lower will be the speed of that vehicle. You can't expect a 1-ton load, a 30-ton load to move as fast as a 3-ton vehicle. A smaller vehicle, a car, like, for example, a car is, we estimate a car to be 1 ton. So if you have a 1-ton car, it can move faster than you have a Mitsubishi Canter of about 3.5 tons. So your capacity will determine how optimized the route is. Secondly, we have time window. Time window has to do with the specific time that is set aside to pick up or to deliver in a particular area. You have a list of customers, and you have time to pick up or deliver to them. Okay? And in that your schedule, if for a particular customer, you are supposed to deliver at 10 a.m. and you achieve delivery at 12 noon, you have been, that is not acceptable, because as far as time window is concerned, you have not been able to utilize that route appropriately. But if you are able to deliver according to the time that you have specified for every customer, you discover that you'll be able to achieve route optimization. So that has to do with the time set aside to serve a particular customer. Then dynamic. This has to do with it's dynamic. It's not about capacity. It's not about time. It's about the real-time update. That is the time that your customer call you for delivery or for pickup. So this basically has to do with customer demand, whether for delivery or for pickup. If you receive a call in your hub to say, okay, please, we have a package to pick up, 2 cartons to pick up at so address. Can you please come at 2 p.m. to make that pickup? And you agree for 2 p.m. and you keep to that 2 p.m. in your pickup, then you are being dynamic in your route optimization. What is normally done in this case to be able to achieve the time that the customer is asking for pickup is we have what we call dedicated pickup vans or pickup couriers. Dedicated pickup vans or pickup couriers are vehicles or bikes that are set aside in the hub. They don't go anywhere. When you are deploying the orders to go on their day's job in the morning, those ones stay in the hub. It could be just one bike for a particular business. It could be 2 bikes, depending on your capacity. It could be 1 truck. Okay? So when there is a call for pickup, immediately that call comes in, you send that dedicated bike or driver. Or generally people call them standby. You deploy them quickly, go and do. So if you're able to do that repeatedly, then you are optimizing your route. Then what are the technologies that we use in achieving route optimization? You have GPS. GPS is global positioning system. That is using your map, okay, your digital map. Another one is GIS, geographic information system, still all has to do with your map. And then artificial intelligence, AI. All of these are technologies that are used today to achieve route optimization. In those days, while I was with UPS about 20 years ago, every courier has a map. I mentioned it, I think it was last week, that once you employ a courier, you give him a paper map. I still have some of the maps, in my library. We go to bookshop, CMS bookshop in Eko. That's why we charter maps. Maps for Lagos, maps for Abuja, maps for Port Harcourt. We buy them in large quantity. You put them in the store. And so when you employ a courier, you give him a map. And he started reading the map, started studying the map, and the manager explains all the routes, and he understands. That's what we're using those days. But today, you don't need paper maps. What you do is just your phone. And with your phone, you can check wherever you want to go. And then even you can map out your route right from your phone on Google Map. And then it will direct you. So everything now boils down to technology. And so we use GPS, which is the global positioning system, GIS, and AI to determine locations to achieve route optimization. And then I said, for case examples here, I put UPS, DHL, and FedEx because I've had experiences in all of these places. They use real-time route optimization system that is adapted to traffic congestion, weather, and accident. I'm sure if you are driving and you use your Google map, if there is traffic somewhere, it will tell you. It will even show it on the map that if you take this route, or this route, there is traffic, and you're going to spend so number of minutes or hours waiting in that traffic. So, and then it will give you options if you are driving and you're using Google Maps. So that's exactly what technology has enabled us to achieve. And that's what I mean, modern courier companies should do these days, whether UPS, DHL, and everything, they're already using it. Okay, using a map, digitized map, to achieve route optimization. Next slide. Let's move on to scheduling. Now, for scheduling, what's scheduling? Scheduling is the process of assigning tasks, deliveries, or pickups, or resources to specific times and sequences. We have said this on a number of times. We have said when you are delivering as a courier, you schedule your delivery according to your delivery points. That is, you have 10 places to deliver for a particular day. Then you must arrange your packages that you are going to deliver according to how you are going to deliver them. The point 1, which is the delivery point, the package should be on top. The next one should follow, and then on to the last package that you're going to deliver. It is not normal to just dump your package in the box, and then when you get to where you're going to deliver, you start ransacking and start checking which one you are looking for. No, you must have arranged. When you do that, you call it scheduling. And you do the same thing with pickup as well. If you are going to pick up from a number of places, you arrange your pickup in accordance with the distance from the point of takeoff. For example, you're coming from Ikeja. I'm sure we all know Ikeja very well. You want to pick up at Bega bus stop. You have one pickup at Bega bus stop. You have another pickup at K2. You have another pickup at Ojota. You are coming from Ikeja. The idea of pickup is you pick up from the last distance backwards to your origin. That is the process called you must close homewards. You close homewards. You start from the one that is farthest to go and pick up. And then you move on to the one that is next, and then you are closer to your home. And by the time you are getting to your home, maybe night has fallen, it's already dark, it is 5 p.m. for you to close. But if you are starting your pickup from your home and you are going to distant location, by the time you get to that distant location, it will be night. And then you are now driving under the dark of night back to your home. So that is the logistics, okay? The strategy of pickup, of scheduling. For pickup, I mean, you start from the farthest distance and then you close homewards. You are going to get to that under dispatch planning. So that is scheduling. And the objective is it enables you to achieve on-time delivery. If you schedule, okay, when you are delivering, you know you are delivering from A to B to C to D to E. But when you are picking up from E to D to C to B and then to A, and then you go back to your office. That is pickup. But delivery, you deliver from A to B to C to D to E. Okay? And every of these have time allocated to them. So when you're able to schedule your delivery, you have on-time delivery. I'm sure we all understand what on-time delivery. On-time delivery is delivering at the right time expected by the customer or the consignee. Then load balancing. Load balancing means balancing of workload among drivers and fleet. That's another way of scheduling, of achieving scheduling, one of the objectives. And what is load balancing? It is balancing of workload, and I will explain it in such a way that you'll understand it. When you have two couriers, using that as an example, two couriers that are delivering in the same locality. Maybe let's use Ikeja. Ikeja is so wide that one person cannot deliver in Ikeja. You have about, well, I was using UPS, we have about 10 people delivering in Ikeja zone. So, but let's say that in a very popular area in Ikeja, that's Allen Junction. We have Allen Junction. We have Allen Road that will lead to Okwebi. Then we have Obafemi Awolowo Way, that is down and up, Allen Junction. Okay, so if you have two couriers covering those two, one goes to Allen Road, Allen Avenue Road, going to Okwebi, while the other one covers Obafemi Awolowo Way. By the time they leave the office in the morning, you need to check the load that the two of them are carrying. That is the job of the driver. It's not, of the manager. It is not for the couriers or the drivers to do that. The manager that will do that in the morning before they dispatch. You check the load that Mr. A is carrying, covering Obafemi Awolowo Road, and the load that Mr. B is carrying, covering Allen Okwebi Road. Let's assume Mr. A covering Obafemi Awolowo Road has 200 packages to deliver that day. And the man covering Allen Okwebi Road has 50 packages to deliver that day. You can notice that there is imbalancing in their load. Somebody has 200 packages. The other fellow has 50 packages. They are not the ones that cause it. It depends on the load that's available that you brought, that your customer brought to go and deliver. Someone has 200. The other guy has 50. As a manager, you don't dispatch them like that. Okay, goodbye, have a nice day. I expect you at the end of the day. You discover that the man who has 200 packages will come back at 9 p.m. because he has to deliver 200. While the other guy that just has 50, by 3 p.m. he's done. You see him in the office. That doesn't make load balancing or scheduling of work, okay, to work very well. What you do at that point is to balance their load. Take part of the volume from this guy who has excess load, add it to the other guy who has less to do, so that you balance their work for that day. That is called load balancing. And load balancing is done every day by the manager, because none of the couriers will do it. They would, you want to carry load, give me. No, I no go collect it. But if the manager does it and look at what this guy is taking out and what the other guy is taking out, you balance their work because they work in the same area. They have the same loop area. So one person can actually support the other one so that the two of them will have an equivalent workload for that day. If you don't do load balancing every day, you discover that one guy is loaded, fully loaded, while the other guy is on holiday because he has less to do. So load balancing is key. And when you balance the workload, you just discover that the work goes on smoothly and the two of them will arrive at the office at 7 p.m. Not somebody coming at 3 p.m., the other guy coming at 9 p.m. So load balancing. And the other day, it might be the other guy that is covering where the load is much on the previous day that will have less to do. That's why load balancing is one of the strategies that we use in scheduling in courier business. And every manager that is what is source must know load balancing because it has to be done every day to ensure that every courier, every driver has a workload that will enable him to deliver appropriately and on time for that day and get back to the office on time. Then scheduling also enables us to achieve optimize our resource utilization. Of course, you know what resources that we're talking about here. We're talking about the bike, the personnel, talking about the fueling, we're talking about the tracking system and every other thing that you use to achieve your delivery and your pickup. So when you schedule, you're able to achieve optimization of resources. all time. Let's move on to approaches to the next slide. Approaches to scheduling. Next slide. The previous slide. It's still the previous slide. Good. Approaches to scheduling. We've talked about scheduling. Scheduling means arranging your delivery or your operations, according to time. You have static scheduling, you have dynamic scheduling, and you have priority scheduling. Static scheduling is when you have a fixed route and time planned in advance. I've said this severally. That is, you already have a fixed route. Mr. A is doing so route. And this is the time for him to deliver at so places. You already planned. This is pickup 2. Mr. So covers this area for pickup, to do pickups. And he has so time to pick up at Adeni Jones, maybe this company in Adeni Jones. Anyway, just to pick up in any company in Adeni Jones. And he has maybe about 3 companies to pick up from there. He has specific time for them to pick up. And that is already static. Every courier has that list. When they are going out in the morning, on Monday morning, he has his list where he must pick up. And that list could be on his phone, could be on his schedule, it could be scheduled on his phone or on his delivery gadget. So when you finish from here, you move on here, you finish from here, you move on here at specific times. That is called static scheduling. It's always fixed, and the guy knows it. And if anybody is taking over the route from him, he knows what to do. He knows where to pick up, and he knows the time to pick up. He even knows the person to contact. He knows the mail room to go to pick. That is called static scheduling. Another one is dynamic scheduling, which most of the time has to do with customer demand or on-call pickup or delivery. This is where real time of demand and delivery is adjusted depending on several ways, on several reasons. And most time, it happens when customers call and say, okay, please come and pick up. We are closing our office at 4 p.m. Make sure your courier arrives before 4 p.m. because if he gets here before 4 p.m., you won't be able to meet us. And we are going to give that package to another courier company. One of the things that courier companies hate most is to lose their volume to competition. Because all of us in the courier business, we are struggling for the same packages. And if you're unable to make a pickup at a particular time, you lose it to customer. You lose the business to another courier company. So where you have to adjust, this is different from fixed. Fixed is already fixed. When your salespeople get the business for you, you agree pickup time with the client. And then it's fixed, it's logged into your book or logged into your gadget. That's fixed. But for dynamic, it happens anytime, depending on when the courier, the customer calls you. If you don't have any standby courier to go to make that delivery or make that pickup, what you normally do in this situation is to call the courier who covers the route around that area and say, David, somebody just call us now from Ion Technology to pick 10 packages. Please make sure you visit them at whenever you are available. And this is the number of the contact person. So David will quickly call the fellow, hello, I just received a call from my office now that I should make a pickup from you. Will 3 p.m. be okay for you? He said, okay, 3 p.m., okay. That's dynamic scheduling. It could also be as a result of disruptions. Maybe there is a riot somewhere, then you reschedule. Or maybe there is rainfall and there is flooding, you can reschedule. Sorry, we can't make this pickup. This time there is so much flood, and I can't risk driving my bike through that flood. I will make it tomorrow. Okay, that's when you adjust your demand or adjust your pickup and delivery based on certain situations. That's dynamic. And then priority scheduling, that is when you place priority on delivery or pickup of packages based on certain conditions that have to do with those packages. It could be that they are high value. It could be that they are large consignments. It could be that they are fragile items, depending on the condition. For example, if I receive a call from UBA, I say, okay, Mr. Adeyemi, we have a truckload, 30 tons to pick. For 30 tons, I need a trailer to make that pickup. So it's not something I will say, okay, don't worry, my trailer is coming now. It doesn't work that way. My trailer might be in Maiduguri delivery. I'll say, okay, well, 30 tons, no problem. I don't have a spare trailer. There is no company that can afford having maybe Dangote can afford having a standby trailer. But not all courier companies, because your vehicles must be on the road. They must be on the road, because one of the things that we use in determining the effectiveness of courier business is when your vehicles are not in your office. When your vehicles are in your office, that means they are not optimally used. They should be on the road. So if you're asking me to pick a 30 tons load, where I need a trailer, sorry, my trailer is right now in Maiduguri. It will return on Monday. So when it returns on Monday, I will check it and service it that same Monday, and by Tuesday, we'll come to your location and pick the load. That is normal. That's what is expected of a courier company. And then you go there to pick, because it is a truckload. It's not something that you can say a bike should go and pick or a bus should go and pick. No. Or if it is high value item, okay, where you have to take care. I mean, make sure you wrap it very well, make sure you package it very well, or fragile item that needs packaging or wrapping or office scanning, then you set priority on it. Priority means you are placing value, high value on that particular business. Then what are the techniques? There is Gantt chart for planning delivery times. I'm sure we know what Gantt chart is. Gantt chart is just like a table that has Y and X, Y columns and X rows, okay, where you plot your delivery. And on your Y, you can have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like that. And then on your X, you can have Mr. Monday, Mr. David, Mr. Kolawole, Pressmall, or this, and then like that. Just score them to know that on Monday, on so particular time, this person is speaking from so delivering so. That's the Gantt chart. Every manager must have something like this in his office. You could be in a very large chart that you place behind you, and you can always roll your chair back and check who is supposed to cover here on this particular day. Okay, that's what is called a Gantt chart. It could be on your phone. You can check it where you plan your delivery. So you know at every point in time who is supposed to be somewhere. If a customer calls you and say, Mr. So, I have not seen your courier that is supposed to pick from me. You say, what? You check your load. You check your Gantt chart to know who is supposed to be there at that particular time. Oh, you know the guy, okay, he's so and so. Then you know who to follow up. Okay? That's how you arrive at your scheduling. Also, simulation models. I'm sure we all know what simulation is. Simulation is all about using examples that you have gotten over time by experience, by practice, by real-time work over time to explain or predict futuristic events. Okay? For example, you have a courier who has picked from a particular route for 2 years. You can use that experience to plan what you want to do over 1 year for that particular route, because you have somebody who has done that for a long time. So use experience that you have gathered over time on a particular route to determine what may happen. okay, on a particular route, whether for pickup or for delivery. That's simulation. And then you can also use AI-based to forecast. You can predict the volume that is coming from one particular location to be able to allocate resources to that location. For example, I just told you now that, while I was in UPS several years back, and I was in charge of a courier operation, Ikeja, we had about 10 couriers covering Ikeja. And so the fuel for 1 year is already planned. The number of bikes is already planned, because we don't buy bikes from Nigeria. We have to receive approval from our head office in Germany, because it's Germany that supervises Nigeria. We have to receive approval on the vehicles and the bikes that we buy. And so we can plan for the future based on what we have experienced. Okay, so you can use AI to determine, okay, what your volume is going to be. I remember I mentioned in previous class, that there's something we normally do around this period. We do December planning, because in all courier companies, this November, December is the peak season when volumes come in. And so about this time, we're already doing peak season planning. How many vehicles are we going to deploy to Maiduguri? How many bikes are we going to deploy to Ikeja zone? How many vehicles are we going to deploy to Benin? How many bikes are we going to make use of? How many personnel do we need to cover? So there's something called peak season planning. We plan for the volume. So when the volume starts coming in around November, December, we are not overwhelmed, because we already forecasted that this particular volume is going to come to us. It could be ×2 of what you are currently running. It could be ×3 sometimes. Okay? And it could be half of that load added to whatever you are currently running. So you can use AI to forecast. Then industry example, I have Amazon uses predictive scheduling powered by AI to allocate drivers and optimize delivery slots. And that is what Amazon uses. And not only Amazon, even other courier companies, UPS, DHL, FedEx, and all of the other courier companies, Courier Plus and the rest. And even your own courier company too. There must be something, a tool that you use to be able to predict, okay, your delivery activities or your pickup activities. Next slide. Let's talk about risk management. Risk management. All right. Now, the third of the efficiency tools is risk management in transport and logistics. I started by saying that every business has a risk element. Whatever business it is, has a risk element. One of the risk elements in the university system is that the students might strike on anything, on any reason. Lecturers might strike, might go on strike. There could be so many things that could happen. Every business has risk. But when you are able to manage your risk in such a way that there is minimal error or wastages, and you are still able to achieve your results, then it means you have been able to manage your risk appropriately. So in transport and logistics, courier and logistics, supply chain solutions, there are several risks. And some of the risks are broken down here. Okay? So risk management is a system approach to identify, assessing, and mitigating risk that may disrupt your logistics and operations. So the first thing is to identify the type of risk, because it is in identifying the risk that you'll be able to determine what solution you will apply to manage that risk. If you're unable to identify the risk appropriately, for example, maybe it's a risk that has to do with theft, and you didn't identify it as a risk that has to do with theft, and you are You allocated it to operational risk. By the time you are trying to provide solution, you discover that the solution will not provide, the solution that you have provided will not resolve the issue. It won't. Because the solution you are providing is an operational risk solution. Meanwhile, this is a security risk that has to do with theft. You have your packages that are being stolen regularly while in transit. You discover that packages are getting missing while in transit. You discover that you load 50 packages, by the time you get to destination, you find 48. And then the driver has tell you it's because vehicle breakdown. And then you are finding solution to vehicle breakdown. Even if you find a solution to vehicle breakdown, the theft will still continue. So it is important to correctly identify the problem so that you don't provide the wrong solution to a wrongly identified problem. Type of risk. You have operational risk. You have environmental risk. You have security risk. You have regulatory and compliance risk. You also have market risks. These are some of the risks. There's some others, but these are the major risks that affect transport and logistics. Let's start with operational risk. These are risks that have to do with your day-to-day operation. Vehicle breakdown, traffic jams, route deviation. These are risks that are related to your day-to-day operation. Your vehicle may break down on the way. That's a risk. While in transit, it may break down. Brake may fail. One part of your vehicle may malfunction. And then you can't complete the delivery or make your pickup for that day. That's a risk. And there has to be a solution to that problem. There could be traffic jams. And when there is traffic and you have a vehicle on the road, you cannot fly over the others. And what you are carrying is not something that a bike could carry. You are carrying heavy items. So you are stuck on that road. Meanwhile, while you're on that road, you have another delivery to make at a particular time, and the office is closing. And here you are in the traffic. That's a risk. You have route deviation. When there is construction on the road, or there is flooding, or there is something that will make that route unpassable. And you have to take another route that is longer, that will make you to spend 3 hours before you get to where you are going to get the delivery. These are risks that has to do with operation. And a good logistics officer or operation officer, operation manager, or logistics manager should be able to know what to do at every point in time. For example, if there is a breakdown of vehicle on the road, and somebody suggests some of the things that you need to do, because these are operational things. These are things that you are going to be meeting on your day-to-day. It's a question for all. When there is a vehicle breakdown, what do you do? And you are the logistics manager, you are the courier manager, you are the one managing the courier or managing the drivers, managing the delivery, you are the one in the office. So what will you do? It's a question for all. All right, guys, let me hear from you.
Okay, my own thinking is maybe let me say two-way thing is either you'd call another courier, maybe another driver that is closer to that location where the other driver is at the vehicle breakdown, then it can offload the items in the spoiled vehicle into the new one. I don't know if that works.
Thank you,
that's
Tife, thank you. Yeah, that's
yes,
your solution, right?
yes, sir.
Good, good, good. That's a nice one. Another one, vehicle breakdown. Okay, so let me just move on so that there won't be, we are going to optimize our time. Vehicle breakdown can happen anywhere. Could happen on the Third Mainland Bridge. Could happen in Makurdi. You are moving from Benin to Abuja, and you are passing 9th Mile to Makurdi. I know that route very well. I've taken it. There's virtually no any road in Nigeria that I've not gone through. Not by flying, but by road on this job. Okay, you are moving. I've traveled from Port Harcourt on road to Abuja, going through Imo State, Abia State, going through Enugu State, all of those, and then going through Makurdi, Otukpo, then to Makurdi, then straight to Abuja. All those routes. Let's assume you are going through that route, and you are going to deliver in Abuja, and a vehicle breaks down along the route. And when a vehicle breaks down, there is fear of attack by the bad guys who like to rob the vehicle, take away your vehicles, or demand anything. It could be boys in the village or in the town that you pass through that just stop your vehicle and say, "No way, your vehicle are broken down here. You must pay so amount before you can even start repairing the vehicle." And when you start repairing the vehicle might be there for close to 2 weeks before it starts moving. There's so many issues that we have gone through in this business. It could even be within your locality. It could be your bike that breaks down. What do you do? Just like, okay, Freshman, you want to say something? Okay, like Tife has said, the number one thing is to first of all identify what caused the breakdown. Because it could be something that the biker can fix. Because that's how we bring them up. Even though we are not making you a mechanic, but you must know your vehicle, you must know your tool. And your bike or your vehicle is your tool. So if the bike breaks down or the vehicle breaks down within town, the driver should be able to say, okay, it's my fan. My vehicle fan is not blowing again. And so it's going to cause overheating. If your fan is no longer blowing and you keep on driving the vehicle, it will cause overheating and to knock the engine. So you have to park immediately, because if you don't park and you knock the engine, when we do investigation and we discover that it's you that did not park when your fan breaks down, we are going to surcharge you. You are going to be surcharged. So you need to park immediately. And then you quickly call the mechanic, the fleet officer in the office. You dispatch the mechanic to you immediately. The mechanic will check the store and bring out a spare part from the store. Drive to where you are, or take another bike, a spare bike, to meet you where you are, to fix whatever needs to be fixed immediately. And then you can get going. That's if it is something that can be fixed immediately. If it cannot be fixed immediately, you call the office. And then they will call the nearest courier to you, your own courier, the nearest person to you, to come and meet you there, so that you can do transloading. That's all. That process that Tife described is called transloading. You are loading from one vehicle to another vehicle. It could be a bike, it could be a vehicle. Quickly transload and then be on your way. Then you take time to repair that vehicle. Or you could call for a backup from the office. Like I said, if the company can afford it, you usually have backup vehicles or backup bikes. They will drive the bike to you, then you stand on it and you use it to do your job, while you bring the faulty bike back to the office for repair. Or if it's a vehicle, send another vehicle to go and do transloading, and then you move. And if it happens in Maiduguri or in Makurdi, okay, you have hubs everywhere. For example, UPS have hubs in every state of the federation. So when that thing happens, The next is called the fleet manager. The fleet manager will call the manager nearest to that location. It could be from Benin office, could be from Enugu office, could be from the Makurdi office. Please go and rescue so. Then they spend a spare vehicle, or they hire another vehicle. If they don't have a spare vehicle, hire another vehicle, transload and move, and then take time to repair this vehicle in case of vehicle breakdown. So all of these contingency plans should be in place, okay, to cater for issues of vehicle breakdown on the way. And if it is traffic jam, when there is traffic jam and there is nothing you can do, whether you have heavy items that you cannot transload, and it's not as if the vehicle is not moving, the vehicle is moving, but there is a traffic jam. If you bring another vehicle, it will still enter the jam again. So the next is to call your office and then call the customer. Sorry, along this route, there is so that is delaying us. We can't move, and I don't see me getting to you in the next 2 hours. It's either you let your office be opened, because I cannot go back to the office and come and redo the delivery tomorrow. And then they will accept. They can ask the security man to wait, to open for you, and hand over to the security man, and then return no matter what the time is. So depending on the situation, you can design whatever solution for every operational risk. Same thing with route deviation. If you are going to deviate from the normal route, you are going to take time, let your customer know and let them know when you are delivering. Same thing with environmental risk, whether natural disasters, if there is a road breakdown, that is heavy road or heavy rain or whatever that has to do with the weather, you must let everyone know. But make sure that you save yourself first. Tell your couriers or drivers to save themselves first. Because one thing we always believe, and we always tell our dispatch, whether driver or a back rider, is that you must make the last and most important stop at the end of the day. I'm sure we know what a stop is. Do you know what a stop is in courier and delivery operation? Question.
No.
What is a stop? What is a stop? Boluti say?
I don't think I know the exact meaning you are
A stop.
asking for.
The spelling of the stop is S-T-O-P. What is a stop in courier operation? Okay, let me help out here. A stop is a point of activity in courier operation. A stop is a point of activity, and the activity we do in courier is pick up or delivery. That's all we do. So anywhere you go to deliver is a stop for you. Anywhere you go to pick up is also a stop for you. Anywhere you go to do something, whether pick up or delivery, is a stop. Eating is not a stop. I was driving to go and deliver, and then I branch to go and eat. It's not a stop in courier operation. A stop is where you go to pick up or you go to deliver. And the number of stops that you make as a courier determines your productivity or your performance as a courier. So one of the measuring tools, I mentioned it, I think it was in last lecture, that we measure your performance or your productivity by the number of stops you make per day. At the time of promotion, and we ask you, Mr. David, you are the one covering Ikeja, Allen Roundabout, Okpebi, Awolowo Road. What is your average stop per day? That is, how many stops do you make per day on a good day? On no account should any courier do less than 40 stops. That is the standard. If you are doing less than 40 stops in a day, then you are underperforming. So go and check your business. Go and check if your courier is doing 3 stops per day. He's underperforming, you are underutilizing him. He's just collecting salary and doing nothing. On a normal day, A courier should be able to do at least 40 stops per day, whether pick up or delivery. And you can do 40 stops in one building. For example, when you get to CMS building in Lagos Island, you can have different offices in that building. Mr. David is the courier, can go to floor 1, first floor, and deliver to 2 companies there. Every company where he goes to deliver is a stop. If you move on to deliver another place, it's another stop. If he goes to floor 2, delivering to 5 companies there, each of those 5 companies where he goes to deliver is a stop. So he can achieve 50 stops in just one building. So all of those ones are used to rate the performance of that courier. The next day, if you do less than 40 and do 30, David, what happens? Yesterday you did 40, today you are doing 30. What happened? We tell you actually I don't have packages going to some. So okay. So stops per day is a productivity indices for measuring the performance of courier. Stops per day. Stops per day. So don't ever forget that. So, and there are certain places where you can drive a long distance before making one stop. For example, you are delivering along the Awolowo Road. You go to Computer Village, you deliver there. And then you have to travel down to where IKDC is, NEPA office, before you could get another one to deliver. So the distance from one stop to the other is determined by the number of volume available for you to deliver. So that has to do with that determines how your productivity level, the number of stops that are able to make per day. And then going back to our risk management, we talked about environmental risks, weather, natural disasters, and the rest like that. Then security risk, theft, cyber attacks on logistics systems. There could be an attack on your computer system. You know, that was the time I ordered for something to be delivered to me. That one has to do with system malfunctioning. I asked for car tire pump. I'm sure we know all those pumps that they normally use to pump tire. Okay, if your tire, you have a flat tire, and then you are in a place where you don't have a vulcanizer, you can quickly bring it out and pump your tire. Just plug it to your cigarette point. I'm sure we all know it. I requested for it. Okay, from Jumia, I bought it online to be delivered to me. And they came to deliver it to me at home. Before I pay, usually because of my experience, you know, I don't pay until the item is checked. I have to check the item because most of my deliveries are pay on delivery. I don't pay online. Pay on delivery. When you come to deliver, I will check and then pay. When the guy brought the item, I asked for tire pump. The guy brought the item. I looked at it. They packaged very well. I said, guy, please hold on. I opened it. What I saw in it was a small mortar. Small mortar that those Hausa people use to pound pepper. Small. That's what they packaged for me. I was just laughing. What kind of a thing is this? This is not what I asked for. So, based on my experience, I know that it is not as if they want to defraud me. Not that somebody went to pack mortar to come and deliver it to me. I know there must have been an error in their system when somebody was packaging it. He packaged it and placed my address label on it, and then that package is supposed to be meant for someone else. So that was security risk that has to do with the system, that the system that caused that error. And it could also be theft. That's pilfering items, whether from the hub or while in transit. We have had situations where a particular hub officer knew that there were laptops. We collected a lot of laptops. There's a company called Zynox in Bagada, behind our office. I used to be in Bagada office, head office, UPS. There is Zynox there, the manufacturer computer. So we pick a lot of computers for the Zynox to deliver to schools, because there were people in schools that were setting up a CBT center for WAEC. So to deliver to them. And then this guy, the particular guy, the hub officer, collected about 5 computers and hid it. That was theft. That's security. These things happen. That's why you need to be very, very careful as managers or officers in the offices where you work. There are such security tests. Road in the vehicle, they will steal items, and then you want to deliver. They say, "Well, it wasn't loaded into a vehicle," and then you start looking, and before you know it, you're already making mistakes. You're already running at a loss. Okay, so there are several things to do to counter all that. So I'm going to ask the next question now. As a courier officer or a manager, how would you guide against theft in the hub or in transit? How would you? It's a question. Freshmore, are you there? You're already in the business. How do you go about that?
Please come again with the question. Hello,
We
sir.
are talking about security risks. Theft of items, whether in the hub or in transit, when they went to deliver. How do you guide against it?
Okay, if it is in the hub, I will suggest we use a CCTV camera inside the hub. Then in transit, there's something we call delivery bags. You put your items in delivery bags and seal it up. So those sealers have they have sealer bags that nobody can open it. So when it goes from hand to hand, whoever that is there that is receiving it will receive it, and as soon as they are opening that bag, you are tearing this the seal. It cannot be sealed again, and when the person opens it, that's how the person will count the number of items that is there to be sure it is complete. So you use such materials to guard against theft, and also deploy hand-to-hand check when you are collecting items from one personnel to the other.
Thank you very much. That's a very, very good answer to the question. Yeah. You first of all mentioned the use of a CCTV camera. That's good. Every hub should have a CCTV camera. It's not expensive. Not expensive. In my office, at home, I have. You know, I ordered it from Jumia. You know, I bought 3 at once. And you can even connect it to your phone, to your computer. It's not expensive. So every hub now must have. It's not expensive. I mean, there are several types you can use. There are the very expensive ones, there are the ones that are not even as expensive, very expensive, that you can just buy, you know, and install it yourself and connect it to your phone and know what is happening in your environment. So it's very, very important to guard against theft. Another one, which might be expensive, is the use of scanners. As your packages are entering your hub, you must scan them. Before you start scanning, the operative of the scanner, who is holding the scanner to scan the item, must first of all enter his own code. It's like a computer. Okay, you have a general computer now. If I want to work on a particular computer, I will enter it with my own work code and my password. If another person is going to work on that same computer, he will use his own work code and password to enter. So that at every point in time, whoever is logging to that computer, his code is already registered. The same thing with scanners. When you are using scanner and you are the one using the scanner for that particular time, you use your code to log in. And so if a package that you scan gets missing within that period, the query will start from you. So there must be scanner, and when you are using the scanner, whoever is using the scanner will have to enter with the code. And then there's something called manifest. I mentioned it before. When you are sending a packet to another location, there is a list of manifests generated to show the items that is in that van. And it is sent ahead before the vehicle arrives. Maybe your vehicle is going to Abuja. You do a manifest. That manifest is scanned and sent by email. So the manager over there already know the packages that this guy is bringing with his vehicle. The vehicle might arrive maybe the next day, 24 hours later. And then when you are unloading, you check the items one by one. You tally. If there is a mix-up, you find out. Then you know that something must have gone wrong. There are also roving cameras that go with the vehicle these days. You plant it in your vehicle. So whatever happens within the vehicle or outside the vehicle, the camera will capture it. Real time. And the manager is aware what is happening with that vehicle until they get to their destination. Then what you mentioned also is seal belt. I've mentioned seal belt here. Seal belt is another way of guarding against theft in transit. When you use your courier bag, you use a seal belt to seal it up. You can even use seal belt to seal your vehicle. Put it after you apply lock. Put the seal belt. And every seal belt has a number. And once the seal is broken, you can't reuse it again forever. You can never use it again. So if the person has gone with another seal belt and applied it there, no. Because the destination already know the number of the seal belt that is put on each bag. They know that the bag containing packages from Lagos to Benin in the bag is sealed with this particular seal belt number. And so when you get to Benin, the first thing you check before you break that seal on that bag is to check the number that was sent to you on phone. If it is different from the seal number you see on the belt on the bag, don't touch it again. You know that there's something wrong. Somebody must have opened that bag and apply another seal belt. So those are the things you take into consideration while you are to guide against it. A particular company in Lagos, in Okwebi, invited me because the manager, the owner of the business, has a problem with theft in the hub. And then asked me what are they going to do as a consultant? What would they do? There's always theft in the hub. There's always theft in the office. And these are just the two things I told them to do. This thing that Oluchi, right? Oluchi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it Oluchi?
Yes, sir. Yes, Oluchi, sir.
So you're already a consultant. The man, if I mention the company to you, they are in Okwebi, a courier company, very well-known courier company in Okwebi.
Okay, I might know,
you know them. You know them?
Yes, sir.
Good. So the MD called me and said that's the problem they have because he knows I can offer solution. And this thing that you mentioned is what I just told him to do. Put seal belt and then use CCTV, and that was the end of the problem of theft in their courier operation. So you're already a consultant. So we are building consultants here. All right. So with cyber attacks as well, okay? For your cyber attacks has to do with your systems, maybe your computer or your scanners. Make sure you have backup. Backup for all the things that you do on your system. Make sure you have a backup that if there is a cyber attack or one staff in the company is trying to play funny, make sure the IT guys have a backup, okay, of all your system. If they wipe it off, you can also reinstall, okay, and then continue your business. Regulatory and compliance risk, custom delay, legal decision, and the rest like that. Custom can delay, can stop you on the way. Custom can, so many things. There are risks. I don't know if I've mentioned it in this class before, on one class, that I had an issue with customs. I used to always like to mention that because there is risk in this business, but there is money also. I remember when I was in Courier Plus, I was in the management team that started Courier Plus. It was a brainchild of Erastus Akinbola, the owner of Intercontinental Bank. He gave us money to start Courier Plus. I left UPS to join those who started Courier Plus. I started as the head of business engineering. Later on, I became the head of operation. One of my managers in Kaduna, okay, the center manager in Kaduna, he had a business. Somebody from NDA, a student in NDA, Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna, asked him to help him bring some items from US, clothing material from US. And when you do that in our operation in Courier Plus, they will first of all send it to Lagos. They will address it to head of operation Lagos. So when it arrives head of operation in Lagos, my hub staff will open it up. And then I don't have to directly get involved, but it's addressed to the head of operation. They will now reopen it and repackage it and address it to the Kaduna office. They will now move it to Kaduna, and Kaduna will deliver it. That was what happened to what Okadokun, sorry, I mentioned his name, the center manager in Kaduna. He imported that item from US for the NDA guy. And then before it arrived at our office, custom in Lagos at NACO, they held it. They held it. And that they now came to our office. We are looking for the head of operation. They brought him to my office. They said, Oga, you are needed in our office. Are you not the head of operation? Yes. Was this package addressed to you? They showed it to me on the way bill. I said, yes, that is addressed to me. Okay. So you have to come to our office. I called my MD. MD, custom came to our office. They said they need me in the office. I said, is that what the issue? I said, I don't know the issue. They said they sent a particular package to me. It's okay. I said, no problem. I should follow them. So I went. By the time I got to their vehicle, they brought handcuff. So handcuffed me. I said, what's the issue? You handcuffed me for what? What did I don't do anything. I said, when you get to the office. Eventually, they didn't handcuff me. They said, I should sit down. So I entered, and they squeezed me in between two officers. And they drove me to the NACO office. And they threw me into the guard room. What's the issue? They now brought the item to me. Lo and behold, the item in the package was a camouflage military uniform. The camouflage military uniform. They said that was what they said. And the guy who asked for that item from US just put clothing material. He didn't say military uniform. And military uniform is not something that you just import anyhow. So they now said, we are the people importing military uniform for Boko Haram. It was a big deal. I spent 2 days there. We had to take a lawyer. My company employed a lawyer who then eventually, after 2 days, bailed me out. My wife didn't know what was happening because I told them not to tell. I told them in the office not to tell her. They collected my phone, but she eventually got to know. When she called my number and the officer picked it up, I said, oh, I want to speak to the owner of this number. He said, actually, oh, the man that we detained. That was how my wife got to know. She quickly called the MD. And she called my number now. And the person said, it's the man that they detained. What happened? We now told her. So it was a big issue. 2 days before so there is risk, regulatory risk in this business. I spent 2 days there. And we called Okadokun, what happened? You imported a military camouflage, and you just said this clothing material. He said that's what the guy told him. They said, okay, before they can release me, the person who ordered this must come and must show his face. The guy didn't show his face, though. He said if he shows his face, they are going to expel him from NDA. And he was already in the final year. He's a military guy. Eventually, and if he tells his boss, they are not supposed to import such things. Because when they import like that, they will sell to their, because the quality of camouflage material they use in NDA is not as qualitative as the one they import. So he will import a large quantity and then sell to his colleagues in the barrack, in the NDA. And the school authority did not allow them to do that. He said if the guy ran away, eventually we resolve the issue. And when the guy passed out, he's a military guy, he's in Apapa now, a naval officer. We became friends. I said, "You see what your problem, what your item brought me into." So when you are doing things like that, you must be ensured of the risk. There could be custom issue. There could be legal restriction. You go to deliver a letter that is inviting somebody for a court case. The guy can beat you up. As a courier, let your couriers know. That's why you don't allow your courier to enter into people's premises. Stay outside to deliver. Because they can hold you to ransom there. You go, okay, you're asking the court to come and pick us up. They can beat him up. So there are a lot of regulatory and Colombia. Just make sure that with whatever you are doing, you must obey the regulations guiding your business. Sometimes vehicle be going, they will stop your vehicle on the way. I think I've mentioned this in this class or maybe some other class, some classes before. When you have a custom issue, make sure you manage it at higher levels because custom can confiscate the items you are going to deliver. When I get to an office, when I rose up, particularly when I became a regional manager in UPS and I was covering the entire north, the moment I get to a particular location, I will make sure I visit all the regulatory bodies. I'll go to custom office. I will introduce myself to them. I will exchange gifts, not as if I'm bribing them because we have a gift item that we write to UPS on, maybe mug, maybe this. I'll give it to the custom manager. Any office I go to, I visit the police station, I introduce myself, I establish rapport, I get their number. So if there are issues, these are the people that will quickly come in and help. So one of our trucks was coming from Lagos to Abuja, and then he got to Lokoja, and the customs there stop it. Fortunately, I have been to Lokoja office and I've met with the custom guys, the police, and the rest like that. I just a call. It's me, Oga, Mr. So and so. Remember? It's your guys. Okay. And they release it. So these are the things that you do. Take your money, take it to the higher level, so that you can beat up all of this in your operations. Then finally, market risk. For fluctuation in fuel prices, demand, volatility, and the rest like that. Fuel prices could be high. That is why when you are making your budget, you ensure that you increase your fuel price. If you are budgeting for December, for example, don't stay on the current budget of the current price of fuel. Increase it, okay? And most of the things, sometimes we ensure that we have agreement with filling stations. Make sure you have agreement with filling stations. And when you have agreement, you signed an undertaking with the filling station that they are going to be giving you fuel at so price for the next 1 year. And then you pay them at once. So even if there is a fuel a price increase, you already entered into agreement. They will increase your price. Another thing you can have is to have a dump site. You can create a dump site where you can have fuel in your office and then use it to fuel your vehicles. So that's market risk. Let's move fast now. Let's move on to the next slide. We still have risk management. Okay. Risk management process. Identification. Spotting potential risk. We have said this before. You must identify what that risk is. It's until you identify what that risk is that you'll be able to provide the right solution. Or else, a wrongly identified risk will be wrongly assessed and the wrong solution will be provided and you are getting nowhere. So first of all, identify, then assess the risk, analyze the likelihood of the impact, and then provide solution. That is mitigation strategies. Route redundancy, contingency planning. I've mentioned contingency planning here. That is, you have a backup vehicle, buffer times, insurance coverage. That is good also. Have insurance for your vehicles, have insurance for your packages, have insurance even for your staff. There was a time that a bike was going, carrying a First Bank items. Because we were delivering for First Bank in Marina, a bike. And the bike fell into lagoon on the Third Mainland Bridge. I don't know what happened. Maybe they hit the guy, but the guy was safe. But the entire bike, including the content in the box, all First Bank items fell into the lagoon. You know, and it was a serious issue. It was insurance that came to our rescue then. Insurance. So it's better to have insurance on your cargo, even on your vehicles. Then have real-time monitoring with IoT and telematics. I'm sure we know what the IoT is, Internet of Things, and telematics, that is vehicle tracking. You must have real-time monitoring of your vehicles through telematics or IoT. You must fix it so that as your vehicle is moving, there is an IT guy who is monitoring. And as a manager, you can also have it on your phone. Then adapting to continuous review. You must continuously review all of these things from time to time. Okay, if they have, if your system is already compromised, make sure you change the system and then move on. Yeah, in case example, UPS apply risk modeling to adjust routes during extreme weather conditions and peak holiday season. I mentioned peak season for you. Up to you. Peak season is when things is planning for the peak season, which is during December. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Let's talk about dispatch planning techniques. So I can quickly round up. Next slide. Okay. Dispatch or route planning techniques. This one has to do with route optimization, scheduling, as well as risk management. So if you plan your route very well, you'll be able to enjoy the benefits of route planning and be able to optimize your route. What is route planning? Simply put, route planning is the planning of route. I've told you what route is. That is the pathway for delivering of a pickup. And so when you plan your route very well, you are going to optimize that route and get the full benefit of your operation. Planning is the art and science of ordering. It is the arrangement of phenomena for the purpose of efficient utilization. So the word efficiency is coming up here. So it enables you to have efficient utilization of your operation when you plan your route. We have said that a route is a path or a course of movement. So move on to the next slide. What are the basic dispatch principles? I've mentioned some of this, and you need to have this at the back of your mind. These are the things that will help you in your route planning and will ensure that you have an optimized route. Number one is the principle of load balancing. Who can explain that to us, load balancing? Who can explain load balancing to us?
Okay.
Sir?
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
What's load balancing?
All right. Load balancing is when you have to dispatch two couriers. That's either foot courier or the one that uses bike. They are covering the same area, and you have like two of them. One has excess of shipment delivery, and the other one has minimal of shipment delivery. So since they are covering the same area, you can balance it, take from this other person, and you can take from this other person to.
The line cannot carry the machine.
Hello. Hello.
Somebody is disturbing us there.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Oluchi, please
Sir.
continue.
Yes, just balancing the shipment. This one has excess of volume to deliver in the day. Then you take from that person and give to the other one who has less item to deliver, just to make sure that each of them are not overloaded and save time in delivery. Thank you.
Did you hear me clapping for you?
I did not hear.
What about now?
No, sir, I didn't hear you.
Okay, but I've clapped for you anyway.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Bolutife, your mic is on. You want to say something?
Oh, no, sorry.
All right, okay. I noticed your mic was on. All right. So that's load balancing for you. So that's a principle of dispatch operation. And it enables you to enjoy and optimize the route on your daily work, load balancing. Another one is the principle of neutral and artificial boundaries. Neutral boundaries and artificial boundaries are boundaries that will enable you to determine which route you should use at every point in time. Sorry, that word is not neutral. It should be natural. Natural. So change it to natural when you receive the slide. Change it to it's not neutral, it's natural. So the principle of natural and artificial boundaries. Natural means things that are put there by nature. You didn't create it. You didn't create it. Okay? Like hill, a hill or a river. These are natural boundaries. Artificial boundaries, example of an artificial boundary is a road. Is a road. Artificial things that are created by people, by man. This will enable you to plan your route very well. For example, I'll use this as an example. When I was in UPS, if you know where UPS is, in Bagada, there's an express road that comes from New Garage, goes straight to Oshodi. It passes the front of UPS. Because of that express road, all our couriers covering Lady Luck, Bariga axis, there is a specific courier covering that area. And there is also a specific courier crossing this side of the express, Anthony side. There is a specific courier covering that. So, because we don't want our courier to be crisscrossing express, that express road has formed an artificial boundary on how we demarcated our route. We won't allow our bikes to start crossing express. Because crossing express, there is no way a bike can cross express actually, because there are barricades in the median. And you cannot take the bike to climb the pedestrian bridge. So the expressway has already created an artificial boundaries in determining the routes that your couriers will cover. And so if it is river too, a river will naturally divide routes among your couriers. So the person covering the other side of the river is different from the person covering this other side of the river. So that is how you use it to determine your route. Then the principle of minimizing between stops kilometer. You can actually minimize your kilometers by creating between stops. I've already told you what a stop is. A point of pickup or a point of delivery. Now, you want to deliver in 2 places or 3 places that are contiguous. That is, they are located beside one another. 3 companies. You want to deliver between 3 companies that are contiguous, located beside one another. As a courier, to apply this principle of minimizing between stops, you must make sure that you park your bike in between the 3 places where you want to go and deliver or pick up. Take their packages, move into the one office, deliver, move into the other office, deliver, move into the other office and deliver by trekking. In that way, you minimize the kilometers between those 2 stops or 3 stops, so that you won't start kicking your bike again, driving and park and say you are entering to one building. Then when you finish, you pick your bike again, you drive. No, you are wasting time. So that is the principle called minimizing between stops kilometer. Then there is another one called the principle of minimum distance. That is the distance as the crow flies. There is a bird called crow, C-R-O-W. It's a bird that flies in straight line. That bird flies in straight line. It doesn't make a detour like other birds. So the principle of distance as the crow flies means you are delivering in two places by taking the direct distance between the two without making any detour. And going along with this principle means that the shortest distance between two places is the direct distance, the direct flight or the direct movement. If you are going from A to B, the shortest distance, the minimum distance between A and B is when you go directly without taking a detour. So when you ensure that you are delivering directly without making a detour, or you have a road that goes directly from A to B, you're obeying that principle. Then there is the principle of closing homewards. I've mentioned this one before, closing homewards. Bolu Tisha, you remember closing homewards? Okay, Emmanuel Cole, are you there? I've not heard your voice today. Okay, apart from when I was asking you about your assignment. Emmanuel Cole.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Good. Can you remind us the principle of closing homewards? I've mentioned it before.
Closing what?
Closing homewards.
No, I'm on the road. That's why I'm not been talking since.
Okay, who can help us? Closing homewards. I've mentioned it before, and I quite actually spent a long time in describing it. Okay, Emmanuel, you can close. You can mute yeah. Okay, Oluchi.
Sir.
Okay, can you help us? Emmanuel Cole, you can mute your phone, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Mute it.
When a courier wants to deliver, he goes to the farthest. Like for instance, if you are going to, if you are delivering on the mainland, if you are covering the whole, on the island, if you are covering the whole island to Ekpe, from Lagos. Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yes, go on.
Yes, if you are the one covering the island from Lagos Island down to Ekpe, you start from Ekpe and deliver downwards to Lagos Island so that it wouldn't take you much time to deliver and get back to the office.
Okay, let me just correct you there. Closing homewards, though it affects both delivery and pickup.
Yes, sir.
But when you are deliver, start your delivery from the delivery point closer to your office and start delivering as you go on. Start delivering from your office on and on as you go outside of your office. That means you are to deliver in the nearest place to your office first. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
That is for delivery. But when you are picking up,
yeah,
yes, when you are picking up, you start from the farthest location and then starting coming back home. You start coming back home. You start coming back home. So that the last place where you are picking up from is going to be your office or the place nearest to your office. So that is the principle of closing homewards because you are already closing. So by the time you are getting to the office, it's not night yet. But when you are delivering at the farthest, you are picking up at the farthest location, then you start driving back home. It won't be too nice.
Yes, sir.
Good. Then the principle of local conditions. Local conditions means you have to be aware of the local conditions of the area where you are picking up from or where you are delivering from. You need to be aware. I can't see the slide again. No? Hello? Hello, Emmanuel. Are we seeing the slide?
Yes, I think. Okay, I think it's dropped. Let me come take it.
Okay. We are rounding up now. We already spent 2 hours. Okay, yeah, we are there. Okay, so the next one is we are done with the summary. Route optimization reduces cost and time. Scheduling ensures resources are efficiently aligned. Risk management provides resilience against disruptions. And then all of them, the three of them together, help us to achieve smartness, flexibility, and sustainability in our logistics system. In other words, we are able to achieve efficiency, effectiveness, and optimization of our courier operations. So finally, you can check these questions. And number 4, discuss the basic dispatch principles. It's going to be our text for this week. Discuss the basic dispatch principles. I'm sure you still know the dispatch principle by the time you go through your lecture note, you see them, but you can go through all of the questions. How can companies balance cost reduction with environmental sustainability in route planning? How can real scheduling be implemented during unforeseen disruptions? Discuss examples of risks that technology can also fully mitigate. And then finally, discuss the basic dispatch principles. So number 4 is our text. It's our assignment for this week. Any question? Any question, please? Bolutife, any question?
Thank you so much. I don't think I have any question.
Okay.
Just for now.
Oluchi, any question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
When you talked about basic dispatch principles,
Yes.
can you throw more light on the cow flies?
The what?
The crow flies, sorry.
Oh,
You
okay. As a
mentioned,
crow.
yes.
Crow.
My
Okay. Let me.
my network went off then, so I couldn't.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, a crow is a type of bird, bird,
Yeah.
that flies in a straight line. When you see that bird flying, it flies in a straight line, straight directly like that. So that's why the term flying as the crow flies means going in a straight line. Because it is believed geographically that the shortest distance between point A and point B is when you move in a straight line. When you go from A to B in a straight line, that is the shortest possible distance between those 2 points. If you move in a detour before you get from A to B, that detour must have added some mileage to your movement. Are you with me? It must have added some mileage to your movement. So when you are planning your route for your courier, ensure that they take the distance that is able, the route that makes them to move in a straight line to the desired destination. By doing so, they are able to optimize their route. By doing so, they are able to increase the efficiency, time wasting, and the resource wasting in moving from point A to B when you are delivering. So that's what crow flies means. So the term crow flies is only used, to describe movement between 2 points in a straight line. Do you understand that now?
Yes, sir.
Oluchi, good. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
it.
I do. I do, sir.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Any other question? Emmanuel Cole, you said you're on transit. If you have any question, let's know.
No, I'm fine, sir.
All right, that's good. That's good. I'm sure you are going to have time to settle down and read your lecture notes. All right, so Emmanuel, over to you as we are done with the class for today.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you everyone for participating. Thank you. We started at over 20 minutes apart, and we've come to the end of today's session. So as usual, like the normal ritual, we are going to send in materials, that's material, and also okay, thank you, Freshman Logistics. That's only for a reminder for the recording class. So also the recording session will be also sent in to the class. And so on that note, I would like to, Mr. Emmanuel, I know you're on transit, but as you can also do well to give us the closing prayer for today's session, sir.
If you are the one driving, don't close your eyes while you are praying.
Father, we thank you. We give you praise and adoration. Thank you for this wonderful lecture. And thank you for the facilitators. Thank you for everyone that partaked in this wonderful lecture. We pray for retentive memory. God help us so that we may be able to find a value in everything we are learning in the name of Jesus. And we pray, Lord, as we are going, go with us in Jesus' name. Let your grace rest upon us and let us meet our home in peace. And everything we lay our hand upon, prosper them and give us your grace to be motivated to do more in our lecture, to learn more in Jesus' name. Thank you, Father, for answering our prayer. We give you praise and adoration. In Jesus' mighty name we are praying.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, and thank you.